Serious Sam. My first game ever and my first multiplayer experience ever as well. I only have good memories of the game. I do absolutely love it. But some people don't hold the Serious Sam in the same light as me. The game has always been criticized for its insane difficulty, repetitiveness, and repetitiousness. Some people just can't handle a trillion of rushing enemies coming at you to dry you from any drop of blood and sanity left in your muscular body. And although I love Serious Sam, I have to agree that at times, shooting at hordes of enemies during the 5th hours of your playthrough can get boring and make you wanna quit like a loser. I've replayed the first encounter recently and one aspect of this game stuck with me. I dearly enjoyed playing through the early and mid stages of the game up until Metropolis, which is the 10th level out of the 15 present in the game. Metropolis still has some ways to amaze the players, such as adding the iconic minigun to your arsenal that Sam's muscular frame can spray and carry with ease. Thus, assassinating weird aliens is still kinda fun. The next level, Alley of the Sphinxes, provide the player with the handy hand cannon, and so this novelty kind of makes the endless waves of enemies more tolerable to kill. However, after the Alley of the Sphinxes, Karnak and Luxor follow, and I must admit that I've quit halfway of Karnak and Luxor because moving from an arena to another, already expecting what was to come, wore me down and made me a quitter. It does not help that these levels are around 1 hour long, and that's only if you die a few times. Hell, much like Civ 11, I was playing on medium difficulty as well, and with instant respawn on the spot, cause I got tricks up my sleeve. And mind you, I really think that Serious Sam is an extremely balanced game. The amount of HP assigned by Crow Team to each enemy, and the damage your guns deal, feel perfect and just right. 2 hits of double barrel shotgun or rocket, and the werebull dies. 1 hit from the previous weapons, and the clear gets shattered into a pile of bones, or the blue mech falls to the ground. Serious Sam combat feels great, and the colored crosshair, indicating how many HP the enemies have left, is just the icing on the cake. All the monsters you mow down are easily recognizable, both visually and audibly, and they gush blood every time you shoot them. And some of them can also be turned into 3 chunks of meat, as if you were a very skilled butcher. This should be classic FPS paradise, right? In theory, but in practice it's not as enjoyable and make me wanna play the game for only 20 minutes for each session. I'm not hating on Serious Sam though. I've already said I really enjoyed the first 10 levels of the game. How so? Because in those levels the game scales down the duration of fights. There are more calculated encounters with well-positioned enemies, with some traps here and there, and I also reckon how good the Serious engine looks in interior spaces. Don't get me wrong, this engine is amazing in rendering the outside as well. Yet still, I really like the lightning effects of the torches and the overall shades that they throw around the interiors. And exploring Egyptian temples and pyramids was both my dream as a kid and still is as an adult. Although I'm aware that I won't be killing hordes of werebulls and kamikazes if I ever go on a trip to Egypt. What I'm trying to say is that everything Serious Sam is renowned and known for, such as a trillion of enemies on the screen ready to be murdered, foreshadow other great aspects about this game. You might comment how the later stages are more fun because your arsenal is fully completed. But hey, I'm really just okay with the minigun, double barrel shotgun and rocket launcher. Well, the grenade launcher is cool as well, but you get that around the 7th level in Dunes. Another pet peeve I have against the 11th to 15th level of the game is that the levels are also huge to traverse through. They extend for yards and yards on end, and they kinda get more puzzly in Karnak and Luxor, requiring some backtracking. And with no form of bunny hop to jump around, it gets boring quick. It's a shame that they didn't add the feature the multiplayer of Serious Sam has, where if you hold on to the knife, you run faster, way faster.
You wanna go for a jog, man? We can go for a jog.
Okay, but what are you doing with the knife?
What do you mean? Run faster with a knife. Everyone runs faster with a knife.
Serious Sam also has a tendency to place pickups on the borders of the map, forcing Sam to do some cardio exercise to gear up. In addition to this, you might or might not be aware of the sadistic aspect of this franchise, that loves to spawn enemies in your face when you pick some health or armor from the ground, which in truth is just a trigger for more enemies. I also think that the later stages of the game are way too full of sandy landscapes, when instead, during the first to second third of the game, the first encounter presents some levels with some greeny grass and waterfall, such as oases and moon mountains. There is also a sewer level, which I might make a video on it one day. Fuck Crow Team. These two levels, oases and moon mountains, are a great change of pace in my opinion. And I think Moon Mountains looks absolutely stunning to this day. I believe the Crow Team acknowledged that the first encounter was way too desertic and a bit stale in its setting, and thus decided to set the second encounter in 3 different places and eras, to spice things up a bit. No offense to the Egyptian setting though, I believe it's very fascinating and has been rendered very well by this 21 years old engine. It really aged like Jennifer Lopez. The temples, obelisks and walls all have been decorated with very cool hieroglyphs and colorful representation of gods. And a source of pride for Crow Team should be that Serious Sam is one of the few first-person shooter located in ancient Egypt. Well, Power Slave is one as well, but I don't like the game. There's no existing game yet that lets you reenact the part of a Spanish torero, but at the base of a huge-ass pyramid. Serious Sam also allows you to vandalize ancient temples and destroy ancient statues, which is always cool. You couldn't have asked for more from a game. So, in conclusion, with this video I wanted to express my opinion on the first entrance of the game, but what I'm saying applies to the whole franchise, I guess, even though I haven't played Serious Sam 4 because I got toaster computer. With Serious Sam, I believe that sometimes less is better, and that's why I've enjoyed so much the first 2 portion of the games. There are way too many enemies, the levels drag on for way too long towards the end of the game, and it gets frustrating and tedious. The game is already difficult, and I guess you'll hear from me later. Like and subscribe if you like the video, boys.